Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 19th of October 2018. So welcome everyone. Welcome to this Friday's afternoon session where we're gonna have a look at a few instruments I believe are developing quite interestingly right now. So as always, before we start jumping into the charts, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay guys, let's jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on is the Dow Jones. Now the Dow here, as all other indices, are in a way trading sideways this week. So as you can see, yesterday we had a bit of a sell-off here, which kind of put the index back, almost back to the same spot where it started started the week off. So in a way, probably we're gonna end up the week somewhere around here, maybe around between these levels here, the 24,970 on the downside, and on the upside the level right here at around 25,800. Now as you can see, the 25,800 kind of acted as a very nice area of resistance for the Dow Jones this week. So in a way we could shift our arrow here, and in order, let's say, if we will start considering higher moves here, for us to get comfortable with the upside, we would need to see a nice good break here above this level in order to kind of consider a possible move higher, potentially maybe aiming in towards the 26,165 mark here by the high that we saw around the 29th of August, or maybe a little bit higher. We do have another potential good area of resistance here, the 26,350 area, approximately there, of course. Now slightly above that we do have this short-term upside support line that kind of, as you can see here, has been broken on the 10th of October. But if this index decides to move above the 25,800, now of course we could potentially start looking at all these levels that I just mentioned, and also a possible test of this upside support line from underneath. Certainly for now, be very careful with this one. I mean, the upside it's a bit difficult to talk about the upside, because as you can see, it kind of yesterday's day was marked here by, well, marked with a strong bearish candle. So in a way we could probably trade a little bit lower here, or even actually stay around this zone, and probably wait for next week to make a better, bigger move. Now if, let's say, suddenly this index decides to move lower and breaks the area right here, the area just around the 24,970, or in a way we could actually adjust this now a little bit, just to kind of mark the lowest point that we had here on the 11th of October, and that's approximately around the 24,900 zone. So something like this, a nice good break below that area, could potentially open the path towards lower levels, of course, and at the same time we could see like a nice confirmation close below the below this 200 EMA, and this would be, like I said, a nice potential move here towards the lower side. In a way, this could confirm this potential move to the lower side here towards the 24,660, or even actually lower towards the 24,000 level itself. Now of course, before we start considering these levels, in a way we need to see that nice good close below this level right here, below the 24,900 zone. As you can see, yep, it was marked here by the lows of the 11th of October. I'm sorry, apologies. So in a way, guys, for now, probably the long story short recommendation here would be just to stay put and see how this behaves and how this trades here, because like I said, at the moment it seems that it wants to move a little bit lower, but again, looking at this weekly candle here. In a way, we could end the week something like this with a small body here, where probably the bigger move could come next week. So for now, of course, be very cautious, especially with today's trading. This is the last trading day for this week, so either we're not gonna just move, either we're gonna stay here and kind of close today with around this area, or actually we're gonna make a nice good move here, either through the upper side or the lower side, the levels that I just mentioned here. But to be honest, I highly doubt that, and I believe that we could potentially just hang around here in this zone between these areas here, the 24,900 and the 25,800. So certainly I do understand that it's quite a big range here, but still probably it's better to be safe than sorry. And for the upside, we would need to see this nice good confirmation here, a nice good break above this level in order to kind of consider higher levels. And the same story with the downside. Jumping into platinum now, this one is an interesting one because on Wednesday I was talking about this one, and I was telling you guys to keep an eye on this short-term upside support line. Let me just jump into a 4-hour chart on this one. Now, the short-term upside support line has been running here since around the 4th of September, and as you can see, we managed to break this level right here, the 833.50. So we broke it to the downside. We traveled all the way lower here, tested the upside support line, the short-term upside support line, and reversed quickly back up, and now we're back above the 833.50 zone again. So this of course adds a bit more bullishness into the overall kind of outlook here. We could potentially see this one traveling all the way higher towards the 850.50 zone, which was marked here by the highs that we saw around the 15th of October. But for now, like I said, be very careful as well. To be honest, with the downside, it's a bit tricky right now with the downside because we're still above this short-term upside support line. For us to kind of start at least considering a possible move here lower, then we would need to see not only a nice good break above below this short-term upside support line, but also a good close below the lows that we saw here yesterday, and that was approximately around the 824 zone. So of course keep your eyes on that one. Let me just quickly mark that one for our future reference here. So the 824 level could be that gateway for lower levels, but again, for now, just kind of seeing how everything's developing, to be honest, it's a bit difficult to talk about the downside, and especially that it kind of confirmed this idea that I was talking about of a possible bounce here. So, and also it kind of broke this 833.50 zone. So for now, be very careful here. Certainly at this point in time, this is looking more bullish than bearish, but at the same time, let's see how it plays out. For those short-term traders, if you want to search for better confirmation here for a possible move higher, now you could also maybe draw something like a tentative downside resistance line right here, and you will see probably that the commodity is not far from this level here, and if we get a nice break here, and if we get a nice break and a close above this, then potentially we could see further continuation here to the upside. But if it still stays here, this is where I'm gonna say that be very careful. Certainly we could be still looking more to the upside, but nevertheless, let's get that nice confirmation break here above this downside resistance line, and then we're going to target the 850 zone again. So for now, overall, this is still looks quite bullish, but again, like I said, keep your eyes on this little short-term downside resistance line. If we get a nice break above this, then we could potentially travel all the way higher again. For the downside, I would repeat myself, we need to see a nice good close, not only below this short-term upside support line, but also below the 824 zone. Jumping into euro dollar, probably not going to spend too much time on this one, but as you can see today we had a drop lower here, almost managed to test this area around the 1.1430. Certainly just fell shy a few pips from touching that level, and the bulls kind of took control and pushed the pair back up again. So now we're still trading, we're below this short-term downside resistance line. You can call it a tentative one, but nevertheless, kind of in a way, it looks like it's kind of playing out for now. But for a better confirmation of the upside here, certainly we're going to keep a close eye on this 114.75. As you can see, it kind of or 114.76 here that I've got on my chart. You can see that the pair kind of tested that level today, never managed to kind of touch the downside resistance line. So in a way, this kind of puts us on hold here for further confirmation. We'll await for further confirmation here. Now for the upside, even if we're gonna get a nice break here through this or should I say above this downside resistance line, still in a way we're gonna keep it careful, because we're gonna wait until this gets up here towards the highs that we saw around the well, I should probably say yesterday, the highs around the 115.25 zone. So acted as a very nice area of resistance. A nice good break above that could potentially send this this pair higher, and this is where we're gonna aim for a possible maybe touch of the 116.10 again. But for now, judging by the picture, what we were seeing on this pair, it seems that at the moment it's on hold. For the downside, well, we would need to see a nice good break here below the 114.30, and only then we're going to aim for levels like 113.95 or even lower if that doesn't hold. So for now, be very cautious here and probably wait for that confirmation break. Jumping into USDCAD, now this one is popping to the upside here right now. Of course, as you probably are aware, the Canadian CPIs came out worse than expected, and we had a nice jump here from this 130.50 zone. I was talking about this one in my previous video, so I'm telling you guys to keep an eye on this 130.50. As you can see, yep, we did have a break of that line here, but to be honest, the 4-hour candle kind of never closed here. Oh well, I'm looking at the trading view chart here as well, of course, but you probably have a different 4-hour candle on your platform. But nevertheless, I had a nice confirmation here that the 130.50 continued to hold, from which, as you can see, the pair pushed higher, broke this key resistance, the yesterday's high at around 130.85, tested the 131.10 that I had on my chart here as well, slightly of course overshot it, but now it's kind of trading just slightly below that 131.10. In a way, we're gonna keep an eye on this 131.10, because a nice good break and a close above that could potentially open the path towards much higher levels like the 132.10 marked here by the highs near the 4th of September. But again, like I said, for all these levels, we would need to see a nice good break, close here, let's say on the daily chart here above the 131.10. In a way, we are at the moment, we're still more bullish than bearish, and because we had a nice break here through the yesterday's highs at around 130.85, but for probably better confirmation and to be on a safe side, we could maybe look at this 131.10 in a way as a green light. If we get a nice close here above this, we could see this as a green light for the pair to travel higher. On the downside, keep your eyes on the 130.15. A nice good break below that could potentially signal a bit of declines here, possible declines towards the 129.22 zone. Jumping into AUDCAD, now this one's popping up to the upside as well. As you can see, kind of the short-term upside support line held nicely. We broke the highs that we had yesterday at around 0.9320, broke it to the upside, closed. We're currently trading above the 200 EMA, and to be honest, overall this is kind of looking more to the bullish side, but something that I really wanted to quickly show you guys as well, we do have this downside line here, the downside resistance line was taken from the peak of the 22nd of June. So in a way, we could travel a little bit higher here again test the 0.9365, test the downside resistance line, and then of course we'll have to just take it from there, because if the bulls are still going to be strong, we could see finally we could see maybe a breakthrough this line here, and a possible move higher. But if this is going to continue to hold, certainly we could see a bit of retracement back to the downside. But to be honest, we're not gonna we're not gonna jump into those sells yet. I mean, into those short positions yet, because we do have this short-term upside support line that kind of in a way continues to hold. So in a way, we're going to stay put here and wait for further action, and then we'll probably look at a possible either break here through this short-term upside support line, or actually eventually a break through the downside resistance line. And the last pair I really wanted to quickly touch on until I run out of time, and that's USDCNH, so the US dollar against the offshore yuan. And of course the big topic today is the Chinese GDP, but as you can see, the USD CNH continues to travel higher. It can certainly today is seeing a bit of weakness. The pair is seeing a bit of weakness, but it's still within this short-term upside uprising channel here that has been running since around the end of August. So in a way, we're gonna wait and see if we're gonna get a nice close below this channel. Then yep, this could potentially open the path at least towards a possible move to the 6.78 zone, which was marked here by the lows of the 27th of August. But if we're going to get a nice break here through the upper side, of the rising channel, then of course we could start aiming for much higher levels, and the first potential area of resistance could be around here, the 6.99 zone, so approximately there. Keep your eyes on that one, of course. So maybe just slightly a few pips slightly below that, but nevertheless a good possible area for a test. So guys, okay, I hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for watching and listening. And I really, like I said, once again, I really hope you found it useful. And if you want to join me on Monday in the morning on my Traders Espresso, yep, I'll be happy to see you there. But for now, I hope you have a fantastic evening. For those who are still trading the US session, I wish you a lot of pips. And for those who are finished for the week, then have a nice weekend, guys. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.